Me moví. I bought a house in Dallas, Texas. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. For those who are new here, my name is Guadalupe. This video is going to be specifically dedicated to my entire moving experience, looking for a house, being a first-time home buyer, the whole entire process. I'm going to try and make it short and sweet and kind of just get to the point. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I am happy and excited to share that I did purchase my first home this year. I'm just in disbelief. I'm super excited and I am very proud of myself. So without further ado, if you're interested in my home journey experience, please keep watching. So I moved from California to Texas. Let me just kind of backtrack. I don't know if I really wanted to share this, but to be quite honest with you guys, buying a house was not on my to-do list. I have an old school mentality. I was expecting my first home buying experience to be once I was married. Just your traditional buying your first home together experience, pero no fue así. I don't want to get too into it, but basically I moved not out of the happiest of circumstances. I moved out of what I felt at the time was a necessity for my overall well-being. So that being said, porque a veces you look at people's lives and you're like, oh my God, like how exciting. And sometimes you don't see the darkness or the unfortunate events that led up to that. I started house hunting prior to the pandemic, looking at homes in 2019, maybe even 2018, ni me acuerdo. I do have some footage that I'll probably insert. It was quite an experience to go through the pandemic and see the entire housing market shift and completely change. Prices skyrocketed. This last year, the interest rates dropped a significant amount. It was a bidding war. So I went from casually, this prior to the pandemic, casually looking at homes, not being pressured, not being in a rush, and comparing prices. The prices were reasonable prior to the pandemic. What I could afford prior to the pandemic to what I could afford as of today, it was completely night and day. So prior to the pandemic, I was looking at homes, and then the pandemic hit. I kind of stopped for a little bit because my job wasn't as secure anymore. I did do a voluntary furlough, so I didn't have any income. Once I did get back to work, I started looking again. The price, from what my price range was prior to the pandemic to what it was when we were in the pandemic, the house did not match to what I was looking at prior. So it was kind of discouraging because all the homes that were within my price range were completely hideous. They were fixer-uppers. I would not want to invest my money into a property like that. Especially since I was planning on it being my first home by myself. I did not want a fixer-upper. I do not know anything about houses. So for me, it was important that the house that I did end up buying was livable and in good condition. The only thing that I would be open to would be small renovations. So changing out a countertop, or maybe remodeling a whole bathroom, or a lo mejor like the carpet changing, but no demolishing, no complete renovations. I was not interested in any of that because I don't have the money, the time, nor the knowledge to be doing all of that by myself, and the last thing I want to do is get ripped off. Okay, so When I first started looking at houses in 2019, I went to my local bank, and that is where I initially asked for a, what is it called? You guys, I still don't really know the terminology on all of this, so excuse me. Asked for a pre-approval. There you go. I did go through their lending. They pre-approved me for for such a low loan. I honestly was really shocked when I got the pre-approval for the loan. I'm one of their elite status because of all of the savings that I had in the bank. So once I got the pre-approval, I was like, well, I can't afford really anything. Basically, the loan did not match up with the houses that I was planning on looking at. So I was new to this. So there's lenders that are outside of the bank that also offer pre-approvals, lend you money for a down payment and for your home. So, and that's another thing, you can shop lenders, which I didn't know. You can shop lenders, different lenders will give you different type of loans. They also have different information for first-time home buyers. There is so much, and honestly, I feel like, I don't know, I have a lot to say, you guys, but also I'm gonna try to keep this short. But basically, you can shop lenders, they give you different percentages for, they give you different percentages for the interest rate that they're offering. You can kind of haggle with them, or at least I did with mine. They just have different information, so some might be more useful for you than others. Mine had absolutely no information. For a first-time home buyer, there's some sort of money that helps you for the down payment, but my guy had no information on that. And then when I finally did question him, he said it was because of the loan that I wanted. The loan that I was trying to do did not qualify for the first-time home buyer free money. But that's a whole nother story. I'm actually pretty happy with the loan that I did choose. That being said, you can also shop your agent. The real estate agent, the person that you're working with, you can also work with someone else. I kind of feel like I should have, because my agent didn't really do much for me. I was looking at homes on Zillow, and that is where I found most of the houses that I liked, all the houses that I wanted to view. Zillow is kind of a hit or miss though, because I guess a lot of the times they don't update that a house has a pending offer. So you'll see it on Zillow, and then when you tell your agent you want to go look at the house, they're like, sorry, it's off the market. Even though on Zillow it still says that it's still for sale. So the agent that I went with, I felt a little trapped with her because I was flying, I think this was 2 years ago, and me tocó. I basically got stranded to working on Thanksgiving, and I happened to be in Texas. So I called the agent and if she could take me to view houses, and this was on Thanksgiving Day, and she took me to view houses, and she was really nice. So I felt I had made her work on holiday. She was actually pretty nice, but she wasn't really helpful. She never really helped me look at any houses. The house that I did end up buying, you guys, has so many, well, not so many problems, but there's so much stuff she didn't point out. And then I feel like at the end of the transaction, she got kind of short with me because I was trying to ask for a lower price on the house, and she was just not having it because of course they make a certain percentage off the sale. And so I felt like, I don't know, like no me ayudó mucho. No me ayudó looking at homes. She didn't really help me nitpick the house. And then I got shorted at the end with like kind of like an attitude. So I feel like for them being guaranteed a certain percent, it should be someone that you get along with, someone that's super friendly, someone that's super helpful, someone that has your back, just more knowledgeable and professional in the way that they carry themselves. I'm happy with my house, but I just feel like my experience with the agent wasn't the best. We got along. We actually had some pretty personal conversations. So I thought we were cool, but then also at the end of the whole transaction, I didn't even get a welcome gift, which I thought was, I was looking forward to it. This is my first time buying a house, and I follow another agent on Instagram who sells here in Texas, which I wish I would have actually done the process with her. But she always buys her clients gifts. I mean, I don't know if that was bad for me to, como se dice, like expect that. But I was expecting, even if it was something small, you get a whole percentage from the house. And yeah, I didn't even get nothing. So I felt kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so definitely you can shop your lender. You can definitely shop your agent. Do not settle. Be picky. Ask questions. You need to be working for you because at the end of the day, they're making money off of you. So the lender is going to get the percentage, the interest rate back. The agent gets a percentage off the house sale. Anyway, a lot of people have been asking why I chose Texas and moving from California to Texas. So Dallas layovers for work used to be one of my favorite layovers. Dallas is very cute, trendy. The nightlife, the food scene, it's just hip. It's up and coming. And I've always had such a good time whenever we had our Dallas layovers for work. And I could imagine myself living here. To be honest, I loved living in California. Ideally, I would want to live somewhere in Southern California because I actually lived in LA for about 2 years, 1.5 years. Ni me acuerdo. But I lived down there after I finished school and I loved it, but obviously that is more expensive. So I was actually interested also in Florida, but it's so far for commuting for work. I felt like Dallas was just a perfect spot, and I never really felt like I don't want to sound like dramatic, but I never really felt like I really belonged to a city. I don't know how to describe it. So I think for now, this is perfect. Life is really short, and I think that if it feels right, just go for it. And ahorita, this is feeling right. So I'm just really happy, you guys, to be honest. I actually did 2 offers my whole home journey. I was actually looking at Houston as well, which is weird because I heard mixed reviews on Houston. Pero the area that I was looking at, me encantó. It actually reminded me of downtown Napa, which is where all the super expensive houses are. It was beautiful, it was lush, it was green. But the only thing that scared me about Houston is that they are known for flooding. That kind of scared me from purchasing the house there because since I travel for work, I didn't want something to happen or there to be a flood and then my house to be flooded. 2020, I actually put in an offer for a house in Houston and then I ended up backing out. So I did pull my offer. And last year, I found my first home that I absolutely fell in love with. And I'm still sad. I'm still sad to this day because the house was just me. But the issue was it was out of budget at the time. So this was beginning of last year. January, encontré una casa hermosa. The living room space was gorgeous. It had windows that overlooked the backyard. The backyard had a massive swimming pool. The kitchen was beautiful. The master bathroom was absolutely breathtaking. And then it had a balcony attached to the master upstairs. Absolutely beautiful. At the time though, it was out of budget, so I had to let it go. I did put an offer, but it got denied because apparently they had just put solar panels on the house, and I guess they hadn't paid off the solar panels, so they were like, the price needs to be exact or we're not gonna take it. It was out of budget. I would have to put all of my savings for the down payment to even be able to be approved for the loan. And then once I was approved for the loan, the monthly payments were literally all of my paycheck. So Even though I fell in love with the house, I said, I can't be living to pay for the house. I can't be living paycheck to paycheck. And then I wouldn't even have money for food or other expenses. Sadly, I had to let it go porque dije, I can't live like that. I can't. What's the point of buying the house if you can't even enjoy it, if you're literally starving to pay for it? And I'm kicking myself because last year interest rates were so low. They were half of what they are now. But it was crazy. It was a crazy bidding war. That's when, because the interest rates were so low, everybody was outbidding each other for the home. So when I bid for that house, it sold within that same, I think that same week somebody bought it. Houses were flying. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? That leads to this year, January, I started looking again. I think that was the last house. Did I go again? No, I didn't go. I think that was the last viewing that I did for last year was in January when I fell in love with that house. And then I just worked. I worked really hard the rest of the year. Then this past January, so January this year, I was actually on vacation visiting my family in Mexico. And my flight back home connected through Texas. So I said, oh, well, might as well take advantage that I have a connection in Texas and go look at homes again. I had a list of houses that I wanted to see, but I was nervous about the flights. So as flight attendants, we fly standby, which means only if there are seats available. And the flight from Mexico that I was taking to Dallas was oversold. So I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to make it. And then I had all of my bolsas. So I was kind of panicking and I was texting one of my friends. She said, what God has for you is for you. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And so that kind of put me at ease. And I was like, well, if I don't make the flight, then I'm not meant to go look at those houses. Pero if I make the flight, then I will go view the houses and continue this process. Because one of my New Year's resolutions had been house hunting since 2019. It had been now 4 years and I still hadn't found a house. You know when you say you're gonna do something, pero luego you make all of these excuses or you don't make it a priority, so it never gets done. So I felt like that is how my house journey was becoming. I would say, oh, I wanna buy a house, I wanna move. But I wouldn't make it a priority to go look at homes. So when 2023 hit, I said, I will buy my house. I'm going to make an effort to actually go and look at homes because I want to make this a priority. So I'm not just going to say, oh, I want to buy a house. What are the steps I'm doing to initiate that? So that day, the flight was oversold and I got on the flight and I went to go look at homes. And that is when I found my house. I put in an offer and we had a whole little interaction with the offer. Finally, they accepted it. That's when the whole home purchasing process began, which is crazy because it took me so long to find my house. Pero cuando ya la encontré, the whole transaction for the home was so fast. It was actually a little stressful because I didn't know anything about all the stuff that they ask for. Everything was timely. So you need to get an inspection done. And my agent had a list of inspectors. I was like, I would rather want to do my own research and find my own. But everything is so rapid and timely. And I was at work flying. I can't answer the phone. They need stuff now. The inspection needed to be had a 3-day period. And Dallas at the time was experiencing a snow ice storm, so there was only one day that the guy could come out and look at the house. So everything from there went fast. It was, we need this done, this is a time slot. We need this done, this is a time slot. They asked for all these papers. Then it was like, you need to purchase your home insurance. I don't know anything about home insurance. You need to do your own research, compare your own rates. You're calling. And if you have a chill job, it might not be a stressful process, but for me, since I was flying, my time zones are different. So by the time I get to my hotel, the offices are closed. And then it's like, we need this by here, we need this by then. It was comparing rates. new terminology I didn't know, stuff being thrown at me. I know nothing about housing. So it was exciting that all of this was happening, and it's exciting that you get to choose all of these things that are going to be for your home. But it's also stressful because I don't know anything. Everything was a time crunch. So after the inspection was done, it was like, okay, well, now back to the drawing table with the buyer. So now you ask them to fix critical things that came up wrong with the inspection. They have a time period that they need to complete those problems. It took about a month for the whole closure to happen, which seems long, but honestly it was so quick because everything was like boom, boom, boom. This. You need to start forwarding your mail. You want a security system for your house. Are you gonna get cable? Are you gonna get internet? You need to pay the electricity. So when you move in, the electricity is still running. You need to pay the water. You need to start changing the house and stuff to your name. It was just a lot, pero ya se acabó, and it is now officially my house. I'm super excited. So I was officially given the keys at the end of February, and I moved in the second week of March. That was a whole nother process. I ended up renting a moving truck and had a tow attached to the truck to tow my car. Initially, I was going to have my car shipped, so I wouldn't get the miles on it, pero the shipping companies give you a time period between 1 to 30 days. So you could get the car within 3 days, you could get the car within a whole month. So I was like, I can't be out here without my car. I would have to spend extra money to rent a car to move around. So I said, you know what, the tow is just gonna be easier. Tow my car and have the moving truck for all of my stuff. And finally got to my house. Sorry if this video is a little all over the place. I just have so much information, and at the same time, not really, porque I still don't really know the terminology. I'm still new to a lot of stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I would love to answer. Or if you have any feedback for a first-time home buyer, also leave a comment down below. I would love to read your advice or anything you wish you would have done or you recommend having. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I am super excited for this new chapter of my life and to come here in Texas. A ver qué nos espera. If you guys want to see future home videos as well, leave it down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.